Once upon a time, in a kingdom surrounded by lush green hills and sparkling rivers, there lived a beautiful princess named Alina. Her beauty was the talk of the entire land, but her kindness and gentle spirit made her truly extraordinary. Her golden hair flowed like a river of sunlight, and her blue eyes sparkled like the clearest summer sky. But it was her heart, pure and full of love, that made her the jewel of the kingdom. Alina lived in a grand castle, a place of towering spires and golden gates. It was surrounded by gardens filled with flowers of every color, their sweet fragrances drifting through the air. Birds chirped happily, and a crystal-clear stream ran through the grounds, reflecting the light of the sun. Despite all this beauty and comfort, Alina often found herself staring out of her window, feeling a deep longing in her heart. Though she had everything a princess could want, fine clothes, delicious food, and the love of her parents, King Edward and Queen Isabella, Alina felt incomplete. Her days were spent reading stories of adventure, practicing the piano, and wandering the gardens alone. The life of the castle seemed too quiet and small for her growing curiosity about the world beyond its walls. One bright morning, as Alina walked in her favorite part of the garden, she noticed a young man sitting by the fountain. His clothes were simple, and he looked tired but kind. Alina approached him gently. "Who are you?" she asked. The man stood quickly, bowing. "My name is Daniel, Your Highness. I am a traveler from a distant village. I was passing by and sought water from the fountain. I meant no harm." Alina smiled warmly. "You are welcome here, Daniel. Please, sit and rest." Daniel hesitated but then sat down. Alina sat beside him, curious about this stranger. "Tell me about your travels," she said eagerly. Daniel began to share stories of his adventures, of climbing mountains so high that their peaks touched the clouds, of forests alive with the songs of birds, and of towns bustling with people from different lands. Alina listened with wide eyes, captivated by his tales. She imagined herself walking those paths, seeing those sights, and meeting people who lived lives so different from her own. That night, Alina couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about Daniel's stories and how small her own world felt in comparison. The next morning, she approached her parents during breakfast. "Father, Mother," she began, "I wish to travel beyond the castle. I want to see the villages, meet the people, and learn about our kingdom." King Edward frowned. "The world outside these walls is dangerous, my dear. You are our only child, and we cannot risk losing you." But Queen Isabella, seeing the determination in Alina's eyes, placed a gentle hand on her husband's arm. "Perhaps it is time to let her explore," she said. "She is no longer a child. With proper protection, she can see the world and return wiser." After much discussion, the king agreed. Alina would travel the kingdom with Daniel as her guide and 2 royal guards for safety. The journey began on a crisp morning. Alina wore a simple dress to blend in with the common people, leaving her royal gowns behind. As the group set off, she felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. The open road stretched before her, promising adventure and discovery. As they traveled through villages and towns, Alina saw the kingdom as she had never imagined it. In the first village they visited, children played in the fields, their laughter filling the air. Women sold fresh vegetables and bread in the market, while men worked hard in the fields. Alina walked among them, speaking to the villagers and listening to their stories. One elderly woman, weaving baskets by the roadside, looked up at Alina and said, "You remind me of our princess, but your kindness makes you even more beautiful." Alina smiled and replied, "Every person has beauty in their heart, dear lady. I am just like you." In another village, Alina helped a group of women draw water from a well. She laughed as they taught her the technique, her soft hands struggling with the heavy buckets. The women admired her humility, unaware that she was their princess. The journey wasn't without its challenges. One afternoon, as they traveled through a dense forest, dark clouds gathered overhead. A sudden storm broke out, with heavy rain and howling winds. Daniel quickly found a cave for shelter. Inside, they lit a small fire to keep warm. As they waited for the storm to pass, Alina noticed a small bird trapped under a fallen branch near the cave's entrance. Without hesitation, she ran into the rain to free it. Holding the trembling bird gently in her hands, she whispered, "Every life matters." Another time, they came across a group of bandits threatening a poor farmer on a narrow road. Alina stepped forward bravely and said, "You will not harm him." The guards drew their swords, and the bandits fled. The farmer, grateful beyond words, knelt before Alina, tears streaming down his face. Through these experiences, Alina saw both the beauty and struggles of her kingdom. She learned about the challenges her people faced: poverty, illness, and hard labor. But she also witnessed their strength, kindness, and hope. One evening, as they sat around a campfire under a sky full of stars, Alina turned to Daniel. "I understand now what it means to be a leader," she said. "It's not about living in a grand castle or wearing fine clothes. It's about serving the people, sharing their joys and burdens, and helping them build better lives." Daniel nodded. "You will be a queen the people will love, Alina. You have a heart full of compassion and courage." After several months, Alina returned to the castle. She was no longer the sheltered princess who had left. She was stronger, wiser, and more determined. She stood before her parents and said, "I have seen the kingdom with my own eyes. I know now how we can help our people. Let us work together to make our land a place of hope and prosperity." King Edward, moved by his daughter's words, embraced her. "You have become a true leader, Alina. I am proud of you." From that day on, Alina worked tirelessly for her people. She built schools so children could learn, improved farms so no one would go hungry, and established hospitals to care for the sick. The people adored her, calling her the Princess of the People. As for Daniel, he became her closest advisor and friend. Some whispered that the bond between the princess and the traveler was more than friendship, but Alina would only smile and say, "Daniel is my guide, my friend, and my strength. Together, we serve the kingdom." Years passed, and Alina became queen. She ruled with wisdom and kindness, always putting her people first. Under her leadership, the kingdom flourished, and the love between the queen and her subjects became legendary. Princess Alina's journey had shown her the beauty of the world and the importance of serving others. She proved that true beauty lies not in appearance but in a kind heart and a brave spirit. And so, Alina's unforgettable journey led to a happily ever after, not just for her, but for the entire kingdom.